Basketball is my life. I have nothing else.
This is incredible. This is the best game before I've ever heard.
Shooters. That's what we do.
Shooters, a basketball podcast. Let's go.
All right, I'll do it. He's pointing at me, so that means I'm on cue. We are back. It's always nice to chop it up we record on a Tuesday, and I'm not by myself this time, so that's very exciting. I'm sure you guys are excited by that as well. But Jack, the man is back. His face looks normal. Are you healthy? Are you good to go? Are you perfect?
Well, I am good to go. I appreciate Darren holding it down for me. The listeners would know last week we had an incredible solo episode, which was, I chucked it on a Thursday, gave it a listen, and then I had a tooth infection, which was my back left wisdom tooth, just completely swollen up. My face was looking fat. I was looking like a chipmunk. Some things that were fascinating throughout the experience was one that it was a Sunday when I woke up and I was like, this is bad. I need to get onto this quick. I called up an online doctor, cost me $30, and I was on the phone for 2 minutes. Antibiotics, went to the pharmacy, got those antibiotics, and I was good to go within it was a 10-minute process, which I thought was crazy because I didn't really know that was a thing. Beth was like, yeah, do it online, call an online doctor. You know what you've got. They'll be able to give you a script. So that was crazy.
Yeah. You can actually do that over the phone.
Yep.
Wow. I did not know that.
I downloaded an app and just FaceTimed the doctor.
That's great. I did not. That's so handy, especially for, I don't know, people that are always on the move like yourself and whatnot. That's great.
Yeah, it was perfect. And I had to use it again to get the script renewed. So I just called up the same app and said, I just need to renew the script. This is what the go is, blah, 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 and another 2 minutes. But then went to the dentist. And it's always funny, working jobs where you can't really take breaks because, I go to the dentist, they're in panic mode. They're like, this is so fat, it could go down to your neck. If it gets into your blood, septus, we might have to pull it out. I'm like, oh, listen, we can't pull it out. I have 2 games this weekend, and they're big games, and basketball, very important, work, very important. So they're like, okay, well, let's do x-rays, send it to a specialist to see if this is okay. Let's see if you can look at. You got to get these out ASAP. And I was like, well, off season's kind of like 4 months. I might go to Europe and then hopefully boomers. So maybe I'll just get them out 2 years. I can't afford to take a week off. But here we are. I'm healthy. A successful weekend, which we fought through. It was a tough weekend. It's always hard being sick, fighting an infection. But the tooth situation, that is the update. How was your week, Darren?
It was good. It was good. I just wanted to follow up. Have you ever pulled the "Do you know me" card? Like if the dentist was like, "We're gonna have to take this tooth out" or whatever. Have you ever been like, "Do you know who I am? Like I've got important games to play." Have you ever had any kind of conversation like that? I assume not. You're pretty humble, but it'd be funny if you did.
It's an interesting one because I would
You're
say
like, yes.
The whole dentist experience, I was only in there because it was a do you know who I am type of thing. So It's not through me, but through the club. So the club, does the calls around like, hey, this is where the Tasmanian Jack Jumpers, there's a guy that needs to get checked out ASAP because we're flying to Cairns in 24 hours and we need to know if he's safe to travel kind of thing. So I would say the whole experience is kind of coming at it from I am definitely getting special treatment or quick treatment because people above me are calling other, the medical world knows each other. So they call the Jack Jumpers call our doctor calls people that he knows and then gets me in the door quickly. So the whole experience is kind of special treatment because I was flying to Cairns in 24 hours and it was, we got to see if this dude's safe to play, travel. And then even when they say you're kind of not safe to play, it could get worse. You still suit them, you chuck those bad boys on and you go play.
That's good. So it was a bit of a priority list type thing, but that's good. You need to be made a priority sometimes in life. It's good. My week, good. Our cooling got fixed, which was a great development for now because the day that it got fixed, it was 40. Well, maybe not 40 degrees. I'm exaggerating because exaggerating makes stories sound so much better than they are. But it was like high 30s in Melbourne, and now it's bloody cold outside, and I've got a jumper. So everyone always talks about the up and down weather in Melbourne, but it's living up to those standards. But I like the cold, so I'm not complaining. But next time it is hot, we are prepared. So that was a highlight of my week. Besides from that, business as usual. Yeah, No more, no more. I was gonna ask how your renovations is going. Actually, I saw a photo pop up.
Wait, what did you say? Sorry, my how my what is going?
Renovations.
My backyard landscaping is
Oh,
going
so
good.
okay.
Yes,
Oh yeah, true,
my
true. Yeah,
backyard.
yeah,
No, it's going good. We're building a big retaining wall. 300 blocks were delivered yesterday, all about 10 kilos a block. So we're moving those. But it's been fun. Jared Bairstow far. Beth was down. She was helping. JB's wife, Maddie, was there lifting blocks and moving pebbles. So it was all going on. But with that house stuff, I get why that was so excited because there's nothing worse than having a little something uncomfortable in the house. You know, the lights might not turn on, or when it's boiling hot, you can't chuck that air conditioning on, or whatever it may be. It's first world problems, but it definitely
actually.
makes living at home a lot more enjoyable when those little things get fixed.
No, it does matter. Actually, another highlight. Why it made me think of it. We had a sit down interview with Joe Luala, which was very cool because I don't know about you, but I didn't know too much about his background and like literally fleeing from South Sudan on foot with his family and like his dad had to stay in South Sudan and anyway he hadn't really opened up much about his story, but I think he's kind of ready to tell a bit more about it and speak of all that stuff. So we had a really cool chat with him. When I say we, it was Annalie Maley, but I was behind the camera just listening and stuff, so that will come out shortly. So it was a very like sort of insightful and it reminded me of when you said first world problems because what he's been through is pretty crazy. And then when it comes back to me and like my bringing, and every time I complain about something in life, I'm like, wait, people have had a lot harder than me, so I should just get on with it essentially.
Well, the South Sudanese influence on Australian basketball is undeniable. I mean, this off season is going to come around. They're going to be preparing for the Olympics with multiple guys that have lived and grow up in Australia playing in the NBL and it's what makes basketball so beautiful as a sport is these stories and how multicultural basketball is as a whole. I mean, you look at all these teams, like you got Anthony Drimic on my team, Fab, who come from your Croatian background. You got Majuk Dang, Majuk. You got then three Americans chucked into the list. Guys from Chicago. Like it's a very multicultural sport, and it's what makes basketball, in my opinion, one of the best sports in the world. Up there with soccer, because there's not many true global sports, and basketball is one of them. And you get these incredible stories when people feel comfortable telling them, and from battling through incredible adversity to come out and become a professional basketball player is no joke.
Yeah, no, it's super cool just learning about that stuff. And you're right, like if you went down up and down NBL list roster, you'd find people from all different backgrounds, and that's why it's kind of cool because it doesn't matter where you're from. Basketball is like the universal language that we can all play. So it is definitely a cool thing. I'm gonna jump on to quickly. I was gonna say you clearly weren't affected too much by your tooth because your Adelaide performance was very cool. I enjoyed it, even though I didn't get to watch it live. That flex on the opening possession. Talk us through that. I enjoyed watching it a few times over and over, but you got I think it was an and one to open up the game, and you were loving it. Was it a bit of, was there any particular reason you were hyped up, or was it you love playing against your old team in Adelaide and you were just feeling yourself?
Well, there was a couple things that went into it. One is I came out strong against Cairns, in Cairns. So I had 10 points in the first quarter. I was feeling good. And then my body kind of failed me. I was sick. I was hurting. Now, I'm not making excuses, but I was out there fatigued, falling over, just small things, missing passes, fumbling the ball. And so I was a little disappointed in how I played in that Cairns game and just what my body gave me. Tooth was still hurting and all that. But I knew coming into the Adelaide game that I was like, I could die out again in this game. I'm going to lead from the charge with the energy, really set a tone, both teams coming off a back-to-back. And I'm like, if I can get this crowd into it, get my guys hyped up, bring that juice quick and early into this game, then I know that little 5-point, 10-point lead can make a huge difference in a back-to-back game, especially when you're playing at home.
It's a great call. It's a great call. Like I kind of like that actually. Like even if you're just like, wait, if I'm gonna potentially fade out again, I'm gonna make the most of these opening few moments and spur my team on. I've got to say, you probably won't have an answer to this, but what did you say to the bench during that moment? Do you remember?
I didn't actually know. So a lot of it was planned. I know that sounds crazy. It wasn't
Oh,
necessarily going to be my play, but whenever the first good play happened, whether it was Mill or something where the game stopped, I just looked at the bench and said, we're not losing this game. Like, I won't let
yeah,
us lose this game. And so I wanted to kind of instill some confidence early in. For me, that was a must-win basketball game. You talk about the ladder on the positions on the ladder, where the team is sitting at right now. 2 games to go. We hadn't won 2 games in a row in a while, building momentum into playoffs. And I wanted that win at home as kind of a staple game against a team that's been playing some really, really good basketball.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
like I wanted to this weekend for me and for the Jack Jumpers. This is my words, not necessarily Jack Jumpers' words, but for me, it was like, are we real? Are we not? We keep losing these close games, and that's all good and fun. We've had some tough ones, but this weekend was we're 12-12. There's no more talk. There's no more we can improve. It's either you get it done or you don't. We're either a championship team or we're not. We're a playoff team or we're not. And we got it done. And I think we had to bring that energy this week and use this momentum to keep going forward into, where with this new system in the playoffs, it's going to come down to who's playing the best basketball at the end of the season.
yeah. I love that. I love that because it's so close. Like I look at the ladder most days, and I'm just like, it's anything can still happen, and any sort of twist and turn can still happen. I'm rooting for you to play Perth in the first round because I know you want that Bryce Cotton little match. It probably won't be a matchup with you two on each other that much, but hey, we'll enjoy it nonetheless. But I am definitely rooting for that because you got like it's definitely recency bias, but you guys are finding a bit more form. Perth
Well,
are they lost on the weekend to New Zealand, which I was going to touch on as well. But what have you got for me? What's your next point? What would you like to throw out there?
Well, I just love dissecting and talking about comebacks, and I just want to dive into this playoff, kind of the 6 teams, how you feel about it, because it's been a lot of discussion in the Jack Jumpers recently. So I'm just going to ask you a question to start. How do you feel about the current playoff system? With 1 or 2 more weeks us heading into it, would you like to quickly explain the playoff system and then talk about it a little bit?
No, it's a good point. I was looking at this before, like just even whether we just like break down a bit more of how it works. But there is the play-in tournament now. You'd probably actually be able to explain it a bit better than me. But from my point of view, you basically have like the top two will get locked in, then the yeah, that's right. Yeah, the top two basically advance to the second week, and then so the bottom four have a little round robin of who plays who. I don't actually have the like little standing ladder about how it actually works, like the bracket, but there's a lovely diagram somewhere on the NBL website that you can find that's literally just like a bracket by bracket. Even though I'm sure you'll be able to explain it, but it's basically a playing tournament between those bottom four and the top two. Just sit up. When I say bottom four, that's 3 to 6. Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
Well,
So,
I'll quickly break it down because as
mm,
you know, I've been talking about this, seeing the teams. So
yeah.
1 and 2 get the biggest advantage. They jump straight through to the semifinals. Then third, fourth, fifth, and sixth have a play-in game. Now, third gets home court advantage, where fourth will come to third place. So sitting right now, that would be Jack Jumpers, and then the Hawks would come and play in that arena. Now, the winner of that will go straight through to the semifinals, where they'll play second place. So right now, they will play Perth. What is happening while that's happening? Fifth and sixth are playing at the team that comes fifth, their arena. Loser goes home. They're going fishing. And then the winner plays the loser of that third versus fourth game. So let's say Illawarra came here, we win. Illawarra would then go on to play at Illawarra to see who would play that first spot.
Mm. You know what I enjoy? You know what? You have to realize your strengths and weaknesses as a podcast host sometimes, and you saved me. Then you did very well at explaining exactly. I should just in the edit. I should just cut straight to you explaining that because you did a wonderful job compared to myself. But yeah, there we have it. It's close. Like this ladder is. I'm still like I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure technically Adelaide can still make it because they're on 11 wins and the other teams above them are only on 12. It all comes down to percentage and losses and all that fun stuff. But it's going to be tight. We say that every year, but it is. So wonderful explaining. I was reaching there.
That's all right. That's all right. Because I, at first, I remember well, they change it, and like any change is always an interesting one because you're kind of unhappy with change. Rarely does change go through and everyone goes, "Yes, let's go." At first, it's like 6 teams. Is that a bit too many for a 10-team league? And then that was kind of the train. That was the bridge I was on. That was the hill I was ready to die on. But I've completely switched,
Mm.
particularly with this season because of how competitive it keeps the end of the year. So for the European leagues, uh, the NBL and the NBL One would be playing at the same time. That's how the rest of European basketball works. So then they have like the European One. So let's say Spanish league. There'll be a Spanish first league, a Spanish second league, a Spanish third league, right? That all runs at the same time. And so the way they keep the end of the season competitive is the bottom two teams from the Spanish first division get dropped to the second division, and then the top team from the second division comes up to the first division. So what this means is there's no meaningless basketball games, and I think that's been a little bit of a problem in the NBL a couple of years before, where there are teams where their season is done with 5, 6 rounds to go, and they're playing meaningless basketball, and you're in huddles. I've been on teams like that where you're saying, "Oh, let's go out there and try and break a team's season, finish a team's season." But at the end of the day, you are playing meaningless basketball for your own club. But we look at how this season has transpired with Illawarra starting slow, Adelaide starting slow. And then you look at this weekend and Illawarra's in fourth place. Adelaide with an epic game in Sydney with a sold out crowd, going crazy, keeping their playoff dreams alive. And I think right now, as a fan of the NBL, it is some awesome basketball to watch because every single game is do or die. You can be crunching the numbers. If you're a supporter of any team, there is always hope. And I think it's made this end of the season some extremely fun and competitive basketball games.
No, no doubt, no doubt. And just quickly on Adelaide, can we shout out their crowd? Because like even last season when they weren't having a good year, this season there was some question marks early. They changed coach, all that stuff, but that crowd shows up. They're always there. They're always having sellouts, and I was very surprised last season when like they were kind of it was towards the end of the season. I don't think they could make the finals. They couldn't really do anything, but it was just like their crowd was loving it, and the crowd just shows up, and it's something to be said about a culture and a fan base like that. So I just wanted to point that out. But next one, I was going to say, would you change anything about the current system of the playing tournament, or you're pretty set on it now? You've jumped off that hill, the other hill, and you're on this one now, so you're happy with it.
I would say I pretty much enjoy it. Sometimes I think third place should get a bit more of an advantage, like maybe straight in and it's 4v5 for that fourth game could be another way to do it. But saying that, I enjoy the way they've been doing it, and it's producing fun basketball games.
Nice, nice. Just curious because we're all, like everyone's always thinking of how you can change the game or how you can just bring it to a better point in time, kind of thing. Um, Phoenix. We touched on Adelaide quickly, the two of the bottom teams, but I can't get over what Phoenix's injury list was like on the weekend. I went to the game, Southeast Melbourne versus Melbourne on the weekend, and just staring at their guys, their like entire starting lineup, almost, I'll say almost, we're just like sitting there in polos, just not playing. And it's pretty crazy when you go down the list of Mitch Creek, Alan Williams, Gary Brown, Matt Kenyon. I feel like there's even someone else as well. And then I'm pretty sure Owen Foxwell did his ankle as well. I don't know. They just have I don't know what's going on there, but it's just some crazy unfortunate luck. And I actually ran into Matt Kenyon at the petrol station the other day, which was quite amusing to me. And it's just funny. You just talk to them about that, and they just seem like even he seemed like a bit like confused how they ended up in this spot and all that stuff. So it's very interesting. I don't know how to explain it, but I just felt bad for all those guys in the polos just chilling and basically watching their season come to an end because there's not much you can do now.
100%. I mean, add in another name there, Craig Muller, who was
Yes.
earlier in the season. But
Mm.
you're 100% right. I mean, it's been crazy how it's happened a couple of years in a row, but the injuries this year have made it tough. And in such a competitive league, you need your best guys out there playing. sometimes all it takes is one guy who's a key contributor, a starter, to go down to affect the whole team, and for them to lose seven, it's pretty crazy. But you know what? I stay tuning in because I'm always cheering on my boy Benny. Benny
Yeah.
buckets, and he is out there doing his thing, getting some buckets, but definitely tough for Southeast Melbourne.
Keep the ankles, the leg sleeve, Benny, as well. I like that. Just random things I observe, but it looks good. No, it is weird. Anyway, we don't have to keep talking about the negative, but yes, that is something that I was just staring at on the weekend. That was just crazy. I'm going
Yeah.
to touch on quickly New Zealand. Sorry, before you go ahead, just New Zealand quickly. I don't know where to from them because I was watching the game against Perth, and Parker Jackson Cartwright looks like he was killing it on the weekend. He was going so well. I was like, maybe New Zealand can actually make the play. Maybe they can actually do this thing. And then the news came out that Anthony Lamb potentially did some sort of Achilles injury. Your man, you're one of your faves to go up against. Just horrible luck if that is the case. But I don't know where to from then. Like I said before, they can technically still make it, but losing someone like that, that's a no-no. That's no good.
Yeah, listen, New Zealand is just that one hurt me seeing Liam go down because I think New Zealand right now is one of the best teams in the league. And don't get me wrong, you can still be a really good team and lose some of these close games down the wire that you need to win because you had a slow start. But I mean, Cartwright is to me one of the best players in the league. When he's getting downhill, I think he's top six in points, assists, steals. He's playing some incredible basketball. He's one of those guys that you have to change your defensive systems for, whether it's the way you're guarding him in the pick and roll, what you're doing up the court. When he's getting downhill, he's tough to guard, and New Zealand play well around him. Him and Lamb in the pick and roll. Sad that Lamb's gone down because that makes their season a lot harder, and they're a whole different team when you lose a 20-point a night guy. But yeah, that was a team that could have made a playoff push and made the top four. A week ago, or about 3 days ago, I was saying that I think they're going to come fourth and be battling it out with Melbourne at the end. But the prediction I'm not going to make true because Lamb goes down with an injury, which is sad. But at this point in this season, you've got to make sure you're looking after your body and doing everything you can because it leaves New Zealand in a tough spot.
It's super rough. It's super rough. Do you reckon Lamb will come back next season? Would you like to see him stick around? Does he strike you as that type?
He would be a good player. I wouldn't be surprised if he chases Europe because I say that because he hasn't done it yet. So I
Yeah.
think when you're younger, he's a young dude, he's 25, 26.
Yeah.
He will want to experience different basketball around the world. Or he could be back in the NBA because he put it together a great year. I have no doubt that he'll be in the summer league somewhere, shooting some hoops, maybe getting a call up. So he there's a chance, but I think it's a little bit less of a chance. With young fella wants to see the world, experience different basketball, and then try and continue to play at the highest level possible, which is the NBA.
Yeah, no, fair point. Fair point. My notes that I wanted to touch on is gone. Do you have anything strikingly juicy for me?
Nothing too crazy. I'm just hyped on the playoffs and the system in place. Some big games coming up. I get to hopefully maybe see you this weekend.
Melbourne. That's right. That's right. It's exciting.
So
Saturday.
yes, I'll be at a Southeast Melbourne game. And hopefully you're there. We get to have a little hug and see what all the noise is about. But other than that, I'm ready for you to take me off with a hype up.
I would love to. Yes, I forgot about you were going to be in Melbourne once again. That's always exciting. Hype someone up. I just want to hype someone up. Go on a bit of a rant. Anyone that's caught our attention, just give him some love. I'm going to hype up. We love it. We for some reason, we take a few weeks off. We take a few weeks on. And we always come back to uniforms because those Adelaide uniforms, love them. They're literally, I was just staring at them. Screw the game. I wasn't even watching the game. I was just looking at their uniforms. Those blue, yellow, vintage, throwback. Do whatever you need to do. I feel like I've actually said this before, but do whatever you need to do to keep that in your repertoire because I love them. Almost the best uniforms in the league. It might be recency bias, but I don't mind. They're just beautiful to look at.
I love that. And I'm going to bring it out a little bit. Did you see Illawarra was wearing the Marvel uniforms this weekend because they have not lost a single game in the
Wow.
Marvel uniform. So as a team, they said we want to rock those. They pulled off the big win against Brisbane Bullets.
Yeah.
In that tight knit, hard fought game. So if we're talking uniforms, right now there's the hottest uniform in the league, which is the Hawks Marvel uniform.
No, they're,
Or
they're definitely up
DC.
there.
DC. Is it
DC.
DC?
I was going to correct you with DC, but yes, we'll definitely make sure that that's correct. But no, DC. And also, actually, one of your throwbacks as well. I don't know which one it is, but there was definitely one you guys rock. And maybe I'm just
Yeah,
feeling
we got
vintage.
our old
Yeah,
throwback like wavy one that looks fire.
yeah. They're top three for me right now. Can't. I can probably think of some other ones on the top of my head, but Adelaide's. I love them. They're very good. They're very good.
I agree. My hype up this week isn't Jersey based, so
So,
sad that we're not on the exact same page. But I'm just hyping up Big Will Magnay. He's a beast. He's a presence. He's moving well. He's healthy. He's going out there playing 15 minutes a game, leading the league in block shots, averaging 15 minutes a game. That's unbelievable. And then
it
going
is.
out there averaging 10 points, 10 rebounds. I don't know if that's what he's averaging. That's what he did this weekend. But he's playing some good basketball. And I tell you what, I have fun out there on the court with him. And I'm looking forward to continuing that little 4-5 duo punch together.
He looks like he has fun as well. So that's the important. I just what was it? Was it the Cairns game? You no, was it the Cairns game? He went down with some weird injury, like it elbowed in the something. I'm assuming he's
Yep.
fine. Yeah, yeah. That was
Yeah,
a new.
no,
That was,
Cairns game, he got hit in the ribs pretty hard. So then he went to the hospital to see if he got a punctured lung or if he had a broken rib, which he didn't. So then he was good to suit it up in the next day.
it looks super painful because you could tell like as soon as he came over, like the cameras kept panning to him around the corner and he was just like almost leant over and I'm like, is this man like is he like vomiting or is he just I don't know. It looks very painful, but I'm glad he's okay.
I
I'm glad
tell
he's
you
fine.
what, it's funny because I was out there when it happened.
Yeah.
And so we all hover around him. And Magnay, he ends up on the floor a lot. He's one of those dudes that's playing hard, being physical. And a lot of the time, we run over and he's down on the floor making a face, like excited. He's pumped. He's ready to go. He was not making any faces. He was curled over in the fetal position. And then as that's happening, his face just starts to go white. His blood pressure is plummeting because he's in pain. And I start panicking. I say, "Oh, we're gonna need someone." We was at JC, so Crawford's next to me. He starts panicking too. He says, "Oh, we're gonna need someone. We're gonna need someone. I gotta make sure this dude's all right." So he ended up rolling over and getting up. But me and Crawford entered a little panic mode because I've never seen Mags hurting before, but he was on the floor hurting. So yeah, there you go. He powered through and he's all right. But in that split moment, he definitely had the wind knocked out of him.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he was feeling like super sick, and you and Jordan just come over and start screaming in his face would help anything. But maybe he was just like, I thought I was fine, and now that you guys are reacting like this, maybe there's something serious. My grateful for.
Wow, this is a negative space. I'm just going to start chucking up random things I'm grateful for. This is incredible. This is the best grateful for I've ever heard.
I was going to ask you actually. It relates to what I'm about to ask, but you say you have a smoothie every. We have 2 a day, 3 a day. Tell me
I
what's
have
in them.
about two to three smoothies a day.
What's in them? I should have paid more attention in Germany. But what are the ingredients? I'm just curious.
I have three different smoothies.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah, morning one, berries, honey, protein powder, and then mango, passion fruit, protein powder on my other one. And then last one's like peanut butter, banana, chocolate protein, milk.
Okay. Well, so my grateful for was a new smoothie recipe I have found. Sam Wood, not sure if you heard of him. He was on The Bachelor, but actually, I met him the other day. So we he has like a dream courts in his backyard, so that's one of those backyard basketball courts. We did a piece of content with him. Lovely fella, family cool as well. They were nice. So I went home and I was like looked at some of his recipes because I'm like, what's all this about? So I've started having one of his green smoothie bowls for breakfast, which is delicious, and I just feel healthier. So I know I've raved about how much I love my raisin toast, but I started Googling, and people are always just like, you know what, probably having raisin toast isn't great for you if you have it every single day. So, and I have the thick cut one as well, so it's probably not great for me, but I've switched onto this, which is a great green smoothie. So that's why I was observing yours.
Well, you're going to give us a quick rundown. Give us a quick rundown of the ingredients.
True, I should have done that. So mainly it's banana, kiwi fruit. avocado. There is some protein powder in there. There is like peanut butter or like we've got like nut butter. It's like a more organic type thing. What else? Some spinach, some milk. Yeah, but you put it in a bowl, which is weird. Like you blend it up and you don't drink it. You put it in a bowl and then you put the remaining bananas and kiwi fruit cut up on top. It looks very
Yeah.
visually pleasing. I might have to send you a
Wow.
photo, but it's very nice. Yeah.
Well, I think we would all love a little photo on the Shooters Pod story. I would
Yeah.
love one, and one sent to me because I haven't been on Instagram in about 6 months. So I need you to send me one of your photos of your little green smoothie because I might have to give it a go.
I will do that. It's very good. They actually caught me by surprise because I was just like, you know what, these ingredients look healthy, but I don't know what the hell it's going to taste like. But it's very pleasant.
Definitely, definitely. This week, I'm grateful for just Beth. It was just she was down for the weekend. That's the reason I played so well. But I was hurt and I was a bit tired this weekend. She came, she gave me some energy, cooked me some food, and it was all good stuff. And then yesterday was carrying blocks all day, working hard. Gave herself a little blister, which I wasn't happy about. You know, working a bit too hard. But just a good weekend with Beth, and especially at this point in the season, you got to be doing things to fill your cup up, that give you energy, keep you focused, keep you locked in, because that is how you keep performing at the rear end of the season.
That's the most important stuff sometimes. Was she actually at the game? Could she actually go to
Yep,
the
she was at the
Adelaide?
game cheering me on. So when I started
Okay.
flexing real early, everyone was like, that was definitely for you, Beth. But it wasn't, guys. It wasn't. There was a little icing on top, but, I was just
Man.
trying to get this win.
You're like, you haven't seen me in person for a while. This is where my muscles are at right
Yeah.
now. But no, yeah, exactly right. I like that. I like that. It would have been good if she was like directly behind the bench as well, but probably wasn't the case. Cool. Happy days.
Is there anything you would like to, what have you got coming up this week that's exciting that you'd like to wrap us up with?
Great question. Not much really. Cooling's done. New breakfast routine. Been going for a walk as well. Someone was saying that's the most important part about just I don't know, getting the sunlight as soon as you sort of wake up as soon as that sun rises. So switching my morning routine a bit, which is very wholesome. But I got nothing. I got nothing else.
Darren, it sounds like you're a little bit on the self-improvement wave right now. Little things to increase your health, which will increase your energy, which will increase your productivity, your relationships, all of
Yeah.
the above. But make sure you keep letting me in on some of these secrets that you're reading about. I know the Andrew Huberman gets in on that sunlight to start the day, a good 10 minutes, helps you go to sleep, especially if you're a sleep struggler.
I
Everyone
literally
that does creative work talks about the long walks. So who knows, Darren might be out here making millions of dollars and I'll be saying, please, please help me, Darren. Please help me. So that's an exciting future that we're taking the steps towards right now.
I feel like a funny thing inside of me tells me you would know more about that stuff than me. But you know how you say we're always in sync? I literally just wrote down, I have some like document that I've just been jotting down some things that I've learned about, like health and fitness and whatever the hell. So I literally just wrote down from Huberman that the whole, if you get the sunlight during the day, that will make you sleep much better at night. So literally just wrote down that sentence on that document, which you basically just phrased then. So in sync, we may not catch up every single week, but we haven't lost it, so good job by you.
Hey, I tell you what, the Shooters Pod is the place. If you want NBL news, great banter, health tips, behind the scenes conversations about the NBL, whether it's from the media side or the players side, this is the place to be. But every single week, we appreciate you guys for tuning in. Thank you very much for another episode. Big weekend of basketball ahead. Playoffs are bound. Darren, it's always a pleasure, mate. I appreciate every single second and us catching up throughout the week. Take us out.
I would love to. I can't top that. So, yes, always good catching up. Thanks for listening, guys. And that's a wrap.